Two Skyhawks collide over the Manawatu. One pilot dies, landing back at Ohakea Air Base, but the Air Force says the other pilot had no chance to eject as his jet plummeted to the ground and exploded in flames.
The shattered remains of the Skyhawk mark the tragic end to what should have been just another training run for the Air Force's crack Kiwi Red aerobatic team. Several times a week they fly wingtip to wingtip above the Manawatu countryside. It's believed that the aircraft were peeling off to come into land from a training mission when two of them touched.
It's hard to tell exactly what the pilot of Red 4 did, but it looked like he rolled perhaps and didn't roll enough, so when the next chappie rolled, he hadn't gone far enough through and they hit like that underneath.
Flying Officer Graham Carter, shown here putting his aircraft through its paces, died in the crash. The 24-year-old pilot was from North Canterbury. The wreck of his Skyhawk has been impounded till the inquiry into the crash. The other pilot managed to land his fighter in one piece and walk away. The latest Kiwi Red team had only been together since early September. Their first public appearance was during an air show celebrating Ohakea's 50th anniversary. The team had been practicing hard for a display planned for the Nissan Mobile 500 motor race in December and the Commonwealth Games opening in January. Today's death shattered Kiwi Red's accident-free record. But at this stage, it's understood the Air Force wants the team back in the air as soon as possible and has no plans to cancel the displays. Chris Wright for the Network News.
Who've been at the site since shortly after the jet ploughed in today briefed the Air Force officers who must work out why Flying Officer Graham Carter lost his life. The young pilot, who friends say had long dreamed of joining the Skyhawk aerobatic team, had flown in only one public display as a member of Red Kiwi. The president of the inquiry says working out why his plane and another collided won't be easy.
Was the aircraft functioning properly? Were all the controls functioning properly? Was the pilot functioning properly? His oxygen system? There's so many factors. The weather.
The 5 remaining Red Kiwi pilots spent today talking to the court, but they'll resume training tomorrow for a display schedule including both 1990 festivities and the Commonwealth Games. Arne Evans for the Network News.
Precision flying at top speed is a mark of honor for the aviators chosen to do it, but the breathtaking beauty and skill are constantly underscored by the specter of this. As the Ramstein Germany Air Show proved last year, when things go wrong, the cost can be enormous. Now comes the revelation the Tuesday mid-air collision is not the Kiwi Red Squadron's first. The Network News has learned of a near disaster during practice for the Australian bicentennial near Sydney last year. The Air Force has confirmed 2 Skyhawks touched wings in a practice run, forcing an emergency landing and damaging both planes. Questions are now being raised about the safety of using old jets and young pilots to execute dangerous maneuvers over crowded air shows. The Air Force responded today, saying it plans its stunts with safety coming first.
Potentially, it could be very dangerous, but we have a lot of rules and regulations.
But unlike the superpowers with their dedicated flying squadrons like the U.S. Thunderbirds, the Kiwi Reds are not full-time aerobatic pilots. They are combat pilots, assigned to special temporary duty.
These guys here are all just line fighter pilots. You know, their job is to get out there to fly and fight.
The squadron's part-time nature raises the question of the Air Force's tackling a high-priced program on a low-level budget. A budget so low, many of the Air Force's best pilots have departed for civil aviation. John Harrington for the Network News.
Led back to Ohakea Air Base by a teammate, Red Kiwi 6 was down on the tarmac again within 25 minutes of taking off. As the escorting aircraft returned to practice off the west coast, fire engines took over the watch on Kiwi Red 6. A fireman approached the aircraft and, after getting the pilot to shut the engine down, checked its underside for evidence of fire or surface damage. Early indications are that the bird strike, if it did occur, caused no serious trouble. The 4 Skyhawks still airborne gave a short display over Ohakea as they returned from their training run. their landing routine omitted the complex roll-under brake which figured in Tuesday's fatal collision. It's understood that maneuver won't be practiced until it's given the all-clear by the Court of Inquiry. Arne Evans for the Network News.
For the tight-knit group of fighter pilots, this afternoon's funeral ends a week they'll remember all their lives. The death of Flying Officer Graham Carter shattered friends and family and brought to an end the 24-year-old's dream of flying with the best in the Air Force. Surrounded by 75 Squadron's Kiwi Red Skyhawks, it was left up to his best friend and wingman to say the final goodbyes.
We will be Aki Aki Kia Kai forever and ever. Be strong.
The young flying officer was given full military honours.
Stay tight on the tractor.
In a last farewell, a lone Skyhawk shadowed Ohaki's Strike Master trainers for the final fly past. Chris Wright for the Network News.